Good day viewers, this is Melton A.M. Porter from Section Jeremiah, and for today's video, I am going to interview a person who is a native of another country and who has spent an extensive time to our country or here in the Philippines. And since I have my friend from South Africa who came here or to visit here in the Philippines, I just want to grab this opportunity to interview him or to ask him some question about visiting here in the Philippines. But before I start, I want to apologize that this is not actually a video interview but only a voice recording interview because of his personal privacy. So, let's go. Okay, so before I start my interview today, I just want to say hi to our listeners and viewers. So today's interview, we have a guest from South Africa. But before I start, let me introduce myself first. Okay, hi sir, I am Maljan A.M. Puerto, student from Philippines. Okay sir, I have some question to you sir. Is that okay to you sir?
Yes, I'll be happy to answer some questions. It's very fine with me.
Okay, thank you for that, sir. But before we start, sir, can we know your name? What country do you live, and how old are you, and what kind of work do you have now?
Hi, my name is Ruben. I'm a candidate attorney from South Africa. I'm 23 years old. I lived in the Philippines for a couple of months last year while I was completing my studies online, and I got to learn a lot about your culture and meet different people there. So I'm happy to answer some interview questions you have for me.
Oh, so you're 23 years old, still young, guys. Are you single, sir, or married already?
At the moment, I'm single. I don't have any plans to marry soon. The work I do don't give you a whole lot of free time to pursue relationships.
Okay, so for the single person, guys, so I think he is available. Kidding. Sir, here's my first question to you, sir. How do citizens of your country perceive Filipinos?
How do we perceive Filipinos? Well, you're very kind. You're a very well-disciplined, respectful people. Also very religious, well-mannered. You're also very short compared to people from my country. So walking around in a shopping center, you really feel like a giant. So short and well-disciplined is how I would summarize Filipinos.
Okay, thank you for that. But yeah, for you guys, Africans, Filipino are too short for you because you Africans are very tall. That's why you feel that you're like a giant when you came here or visit here in the Philippines. But anyway, here's my second question to you, sir. Okay, what are the different behaviors of Filipinos that are not acceptable or not usually done in your home country?
Behaviors that are not acceptable. There's not a whole lot. Your country is much more conservative than mine is, so we don't have too many behaviors that are not accepted. One thing is gossip. You tend to gossip a lot in your country, which is looked down upon here. We have a thing where people shout at each other when talking, because speaking softly is a sign of gossip, and you don't want to be a person caught gossiping here. You're also not too private. You tend to read messages on a phone without asking, or you would walk into a room without knocking. Compared to here, people are very private and they respect each other's privacy more than they would over there.
So you Africans are very private and you respect each other for your privacy. That is a very good attitude of your country. So, sir, here's my third question for you. So, what are the similarities of Filipinos and citizens of your country in terms of behavior and thinking?
Similarities between our people. Well, you're very friendly to tourists is something that I noticed and appreciated while I was there. You really make tourists feel welcome and like to show them around. It's something we try to do as well because a lot of our money comes from tourism. So that's certainly one point. We're also fairly religious, not as much as your country, but we try to go the Christian route. Be respectful and kind to each other as well. But I just feel like Filipinos do that a bit better than we do.
Well, thank you so much for that, sir. Okay, so that is true. We Filipinos are very friendly. Yeah. So, sir, here's my last question for you, sir. So, what was your most difficult adjustment staying here in the Philippines?
The most difficult adjustment, it was most certainly the heat. It's so warm there and uncomfortable. Where I'm from, South Africa, it's a much colder climate, so we don't really experience the heat that I had while we were visiting up there. It's just really uncomfortable. You can't sleep without at least two fans pointing at you. You feel sweaty all the time. I just don't know how Filipinos could survive in that heat and be fine with it. But yeah, the most difficult adjustment was definitely the sun.
So, the heat or the sun is the reason why you feel uncomfortable while staying here in the Philippines. But even it's very hot here, I know that you really enjoy staying here in the Philippines. Thank you so much for visiting here in my country. So, we heard from Attorney Ruben that he experienced a lot here in the Philippines and that was his first time visiting here in the Philippines, and his most difficult adjustment staying here in the Philippines is the sun or the heat because he lived from South Africa and the climate between South Africa and the Philippines are different, so it's very normal that he feels uncomfortable while staying here in the Philippines. But we know that he enjoying while staying here in the Philippines. So because according to him, he enjoy it because the people here in the Philippines are very kind and respectful. So as a Filipino, thank you very much for visiting here to our country.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Redoble Maristel, and this is the second output for Group 6. So, I have interviewed one native person who is Anna Ingerman, is 74 years old, who is living in Australia and staying here in the Philippines for 30 years and teaching missionary school. So, the following questions I've asked her, and let's see what was her answers. So the first one is, how do citizens of your country perceive Filipinos? So her answers are, Filipinos are generally regarded very highly. They are willing to do difficult jobs cheerfully and tackle almost anything. My Filipina friend was a school teacher in Sydney. She organized for a group of us to visit the Philippines back in 1980, and we had a wonderful experience. I think that influenced my thinking later about coming here to work. Filipinos are welcome us into all kinds of places, here in offices of leaders and also at the village level. learning language and translating the Bible. Hospitality to strangers is a very strong culture value here, and it makes outsiders feel very welcome. The second question is, what are the different behaviors of Filipinos that are not acceptable or not usually done in your home country? And her answer is, unacceptable behavior, I didn't really see any. So third, what are the similarities of Filipinos and citizens of your country in terms of behavior and thinking? Her answer is, differences in behavior and thinking. I feel Filipinos are so good at assimilating and learning language quickly. And for the last question, what was your most difficult adjustment staying in the Philippines? And her answer, I have had very little trouble settling in the Philippines, especially the people itself. But along the way, staying here was a great, and I enjoyed the friendliness and hospitality. The Lord led me to retire here.